Hey there. I'm going to switch gears a little bit and come off of the ants series and talk a little bit about boundaries. As I've posted, I shouldn't say as I've posted, I have posted some groups of boundaries, some verbiage of boundaries. And I call them just different groups. I haven't really labeled them, whether they're healthy or unhealthy or which category they would fall into, because I don't like people to be biased when they read the lists and try to see that they're more healthy than the unhealthy ones. So they're literally just group 1, group 2, and group 3, as you've seen. What I want to talk about right now, though, is actually not even on the list, and it's 2 different other categories of boundaries, and these are called containment versus protection. So the containment boundary, if you literally picture putting a container over yourself, it protects the world from you. You are more contained. So if you picture someone who might have an anger management issue, they need a better containment boundary. I don't think it's possible to be too emotional, but if you use that imagery, someone who's too emotional might need a better containment boundary to not be so emotional. The flip side is the protective boundary, and the protective boundary is a glass wall that comes up in front of me that protects me from the world. So if someone says something that I don't appreciate or don't agree with, then it's like an egg coming at me that hits the boundary, hits that glass wall, and doesn't hit me. And if I have no protective boundary, then I end up with egg on my face because everything just kind of hits. So anyone on here following who knows me and my husband will appreciate this. So this is a fictional conversation. We've never actually had this conversation. It just paints a good picture and fits for a conversation that we could theoretically have. My husband's very sarcastic and it gets on my nerves a lot. So I could theoretically say to my husband, I wish you had a better containment boundary. And he could say to me, if you were more protected, I would not need to be more contained. And then circular, I could say, but if you were more contained, I wouldn't need to be so protected. So the containment and the protective boundaries, sometimes, not always, do go hand in hand. Again, if I'm more protected, the other person doesn't need to be as contained. If they are more contained, I often don't need to be as protected. I hope that makes sense. Feel free to comment if you either agree or disagree or don't understand any more information. So again, the containment boundary protects the world from me, and the protective boundary protects me from the world. And I can honestly tell you, the information I've already posted on boundaries, being a therapist for 11 years, I've seen that boundary list. I've been using it for a decade, literally. I just learned about containment versus protective boundaries about 2.5 years ago. I'm glancing over at my calendar. I think it was September of 2017. And what I heard, which was true, was that the protective boundary is life-changing. And I apologize. I had to hit pause. I was briefly interrupted by one of my little ones. One of the downsides of having a home office. But again, that protective boundary I was told it would be life-changing, and it literally has been life-changing. To know that I don't have to be so affected by everything that people say to me and everyone around me, that I can put up this protective boundary and not let things soak in, really was, as I say, life-changing. Another story I like to tell my clients is, long story, we have a shared family app to record funny stories or pictures or whatever of the kids. And I don't even remember when, about a year ago maybe, we'd gotten new phones, and my husband was looking in his phone, and he looked at the app and he said, do we have a shared login? And I said, no, you have your own login and your own password. And so he typed in what he assumed was his login, fine. And he said, what's my password? And he kind of was being snippish. And I said, I don't know. And now let's be honest, my audience here, between us, everyone, if you're married or in a long-term romantic relationship, we all use the same password for everything, and we all know what our partner's password is. So I said to him, try such and such, XYZ. And he tried that and it didn't work. And he was starting to get aggravated, upset, anything. A little bit heightened is a better way to put it, a little bit heightened. And typically, before this protective boundary, I would have snapped at him, not taken a deep breath, done nothing, but snapped at him and said, just give me your phone, let me figure it out, and tried to resolve it. And instead, I took a deep breath. Sorry, I was interrupted again. I took a deep breath. I calmly and nicely said, I need to go into the restroom for a minute. I think I was flossing. not using the restroom, and literally thought to myself, Vicky, protective boundary, this doesn't have to affect you. Vicky, this is not your problem. Take a deep breath. You don't have to resolve this. And I peeked out again, and I saw him like looking at his phone, like focused on it, but like I have no idea if he was calm or not, just staring at his phone. And I remember thinking, I have no idea if he's moved on to a game or if he's still trying to figure out the app, and I don't need to concern myself with this. And I went about my business. I flossed, I brushed my teeth, I came back out. We went about our evening, and we never readdressed it. And we were both calm and had a nice evening together, and I didn't have to fix the problem for him. And at this point, like literally now today, he's been looking at the app and like he doesn't post in it ever, but, noticing when I post things in the app. So I know somehow it got resolved, and I didn't have to fix it for him. But the big key point of that story is the protective boundary, that I did not have to absorb his negative energy and try to fix it. I was able to put up that glass boundary, breathe through it, and move on with my evening in a healthy way. So again, containment versus protective boundaries, a very different way to look at boundaries that aren't on that list that I've been posting. And let me know your thoughts on it. Comment on this video if you have anything to say, or even the thoughts on the different boundaries and which ones you think are the healthy ones, which ones you think are the unhealthy ones. Let me know your thoughts. I like the interaction. Again, if you want to talk to me in a little bit more detail or start working with me, I can be reached at 857-891-0146. That's my business line, and it is a cell phone as well, so feel free to text. Or you can track me down here on Facebook and leave a message, or you can send me an email, victoria@victoriaisa.com, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you. Bye-bye.